Welcome to Crimson Ed Talks. My name's Jamie and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crimson Education. And today it gives me enormous pleasure to be with one of the true legends of Crimson, Amay Aggarwal. I've been following Amay's journey since he was 13 in New Zealand, and he's been crushing it ever since. From high school, where he was Dux at King's College, all the way to getting into schools like Stanford, Princeton. He headed off to Stanford, where he obliterated the computer science program with an almost perfect GPA. Maybe it was perfect. Who knows? He'll tell you soon. And then after that, has an amazing career in Silicon Valley at one of the most prestigious product manager programs in the Valley at Uber, working under some real legends in the company. From there, he's honed his AI skills and has recently gone through Y Combinator, Silicon Valley's most competitive accelerator, having now gone through a funding round and is now getting ready to build and launch an amazing AI business. Amay, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
So I guess let's start way back in high school. And I'm really curious to ask, what actually created the entrepreneurial spark? Was it always clear to you wanted to do entrepreneurship, or was it something that emerged in a post-Stanford or during Stanford era for you, Amay?
I think it definitely emerged during Stanford. So you're surrounded by all this buzz with technology. Everyone else is kind of thinking about ideas and always talking about ideas. So I think a lot of it actually spurred from my time at Stanford. During high school, I actually wanted to be an econ major. I wanted to go down a more finance route, and that's really where I started off. But coming into Stanford, after I took my first computer science class, which then turned into a second computer science class, which then turned into a computer science major, I just started to see so many of these opportunities. And I think that really inspired me to be a founder.
Just this week, I was actually on campus at Stanford meeting with many Crimson folks that are currently at Stanford. They're freshmen, they're sophomore, they're wide-eyed, they're excited about the experience. How would you describe your learning journey at Stanford? How much of your learning actually took place in the classroom with professors versus speaking to innovative folks around, the dining halls and that kind of thing?
I'd say most of my learning actually came from working with my other classmates. And I learned a ton just by working on projects. A lot of the classes that I did, especially computer science related, are project based. So you partner with a team and you work on, creating a final project and deliverable. And I think that also really mimics how you work in industry, right? And so that was really the best learning experience for me, was actually working with really, really talented people that you meet at Stanford that are coming from different walks of life. They have different experiences. Some of them are way better technically than I am, but then also figuring out, learning from them, seeing where I can add value. The classes themselves are really useful, but I think actually applying those learnings through these projects, through conversations with other people, is really where I found the most value.
Now, digging into the academics for a second, can you describe to us some of the most epic academic classes you took at Stanford, whether it be amazing guest speakers or just classes that really built core foundations in you that you found very, very helpful? What were some of the all-time hits for you?
A lot of the classes that I think really appealed to me were actually focused on machine learning. One of the really surprising things to me actually was how much math goes on behind it, right? And so, when we're using something like ChatGPT, it's actually taking all those words, converting them into numbers, doing computations on the numbers, and then translating it back into words. And so actually, diving deeper into how that all works was really, really interesting. Specifically, some classes were the computer vision class, so CS231N. It's taught by Pepe and, some really, really good Stanford professors, figuring out exactly how do you translate an image into something that a machine can understand. And then how do you do really interesting things on that, even figuring out what is this image of, right? Or what objects exist in this image. So CS231N, which is the computer vision class, was actually probably my favorite class at Stanford. There's also, natural language class, so figuring out language and actually understanding machine learning. It's CS229, which is our deep learning class. That was really good as well. Just, figuring out all of the math that goes on behind actually training an ML model and seeing, now people using it, seeing exactly what goes on behind the scenes.
Now, an interesting, almost philosophical question. A lot of folks choose to go to the US over schools in the UK, like Oxford and Cambridge, because of the sort of liberal arts experience, the idea that you can take different classes, you can dabble, you can explore. Did you actually find that dabbling useful? Or would you say if you could have just chosen to just take pure machine learning, magic, computer science, math, stats, that would have actually been stronger for you? Was there any actual value of quote unquote liberal arts in your journey?
I think there was a ton of value. I think if I had gone into college without a liberal arts curriculum, I probably would have ended up being an econ major, and I would never have taken that computer science class, which then eventually ended up becoming my passion, right? And what I really want to spend the rest of my life doing. And so I think having the opportunity to explore different classes, different curriculums, I think that was really, really useful for me. And then I could actually look at, all this technology stuff I was learning, and then combine it with some of these other classes like Econ and see, there's so many applications to this technology in these different fields. And so that's really how I think the liberal arts kind of education helped me think about what are the problems, right? What are the opportunities? And also what are the technical skills that I need in order to actually go serve those? I think it's not useful to have one without the other. And that's why I really sort of think the liberal arts education was really valuable, at least for me in my founder journey.
Incredible. Now, you've done some amazing internships at, firms like McKinsey, firms like Weiss Asset Management, and then, of course, Uber post-graduation. Can you walk us through your career experiences so far and give us a sense of how strategic were you sort of going from firm to firm, or was it much more of almost like a random walk down exciting opportunities?
A lot of it was a random walk down exciting opportunities, as you mentioned. So while I was at college, COVID hit. So, I think that also definitely impacted a lot of sort of what I was working on and what was drawing me. And so, early on, started exploring the finance consulting route. And then the more technology classes I took, the more I was like, okay, this is really what I want to do. And I think a lot of that is also, being in this environment where everyone else is also doing that, I think kind of draws you towards it because you're like, oh, these people have already thought about it and they probably, see a ton of opportunities. So maybe I should be looking there too. And so I think the more I was at Stanford, the more classes that I took, the closer I was drawn towards technology. And then actually coming out of college, I had offers across finance, consulting, software engineering, product management. And it was a really difficult decision deciding what path do I go down, right? And I remember actually talking to you, Jamie, and figuring out, right, where are the right opportunities and how do I project my career forward? Ended up deciding this product management route in technology because I felt like it was kind of in the middle and I could go whichever way I wanted from there. Yeah, so I think it was not really strategic. I think I was kind of like spring and praying and seeing what are the best opportunities in front of me at any point and then optimizing from there rather than making overly strategic decisions because I feel like oftentimes we don't know what the right decision is until we actually have the options on the table.
I love it. And you certainly hit finance, consulting, tech, and then pulled the trigger ultimately on entrepreneurship. So I like it because you can have no regrets. You've certainly shopped them all in terms of many of the most popular tracks from these schools. So very, very cool. Okay, now we're going to move to our wrap up, our final rapid fire section, where I'm going to hit you, Amay, with some spicy questions, some of which you've read, some of which you haven't. So get ready for an adventure. Best city in the world right now to live?
New York.
Best city for tech?
San Francisco.
Country you wish you would visit?
Japan.
Best language to learn if you're a high school student?
Chinese.
The university that's going to be surprisingly better than we might expect in 10 years' time?
UC Berkeley.
AI, friend or foe?
Friend.
What do you think OpenAI's market cap will be in 10 years?
Over $100 billion.
That seems like a very safe bet. Overall, will AI create jobs or kill jobs for humanity at large?
Create jobs.
Which country, apart from America, will be the most AI advanced in the world?
The UK.